Have you ever thought about the kind of legacy that you want to leave behind when you're gone? Lots of people don't, and so as a result, they end up just kind of bebopping through life without ever giving it a whole lot of thought. Maybe they feel that the word doesn't apply to them for some reason, or perhaps they're a little bit intimidated by the word. Maybe they feel like the word legacy does not apply to them, or perhaps they're a little bit scared of the word, and as a result, they just kind of avoid it altogether. Hi, if we've not met before, I'm Shelley from Taming Frenzy, and if any of this sounds at all like you, stick around because today we're going to talk about the concept of legacy, what it is, why it's so important, and how we can be more intentional about creating the one we want to leave. Many people are intimidated by the thought even of the word legacy. When they think of legacy, they think it has to be something profound, something huge, something mega important to the world. And as a result, we assume that the only people who really leave legacies behind are the people who are wealthy, powerful, or famous. But another way to think about legacy is simply to think about what is it that's inside of you that's important, that needs to come out. What is it you want to be? What is it you want to do? What is it you want to experience? Those things all tie into the legacy that you leave. Now, it's true, legacy might be a body of work that you leave behind. It might be the wealth that you leave behind to your heirs and the people that are going to inherit from you. Your legacy might be a business you start or other creative endeavor. But your legacy can also be made up of your attitude towards life, the way that you treat other people, the causes you believed in and that you were passionate about. I think one of the problems is that we tend to look at our own lives and we think about them as being just really, really small. We assume that we don't have a lot of impact on others, and we tell ourselves things like, well, I'm just a mom, or, well, I was only a teacher, or, well, I've not invented or created anything fabulously important to the world. But personally, I think that we are selling ourselves short. Your life is bigger than you realize, and it touches more people than you may ever have dreamed even possible. I think that true legacy boils down to really two primary key concepts, and those are memories and impact. Now, those who know me in real life know that I grew up in a funeral home. My dad was a funeral director, and I have believed all of my life that the key thing that is left behind when all of us are dead and gone are the memories that other people have of us. We may leave behind a pot full of money. We may leave behind, wonderful possessions and things, but the key takeaways from our life, the really important things that we leave, are the memories that other people hold. Because, once we're in the ground or turned into dust, those other things fade away and they get given away or, sold, whatever. But the memories that people have of us in their head and in their heart, those things last as long as that other person is alive. Those are the things that truly keep our spirit alive. And I had the experience of hearing a family member say some of what I really think are some of the saddest words I've actually ever heard in my life. This family member was getting on up in years, and we were visiting with them. And before we got ready to leave, the family member told me that they wanted me to pick out some possession in the house to take home to give to one of my children. Anyway, it was an old person's house. I knew there wasn't going to be anything in there that this particular child was going to be, interested in terms of decor or anything like that. And so I tried to kind of just brush it off and say, oh, that's really not necessary, etc. The things you tell somebody. But this person went on to make the comment. She said, no, I want you to take whatever because I want this child to have something to remember me by. Well, so I took something. But as we drove home, I remember thinking and talking with the person who was in the car with me about how it seemed to me like this person had really kind of missed the boat, had missed the mark of something really key and important in life. And that is this: other people do not remember us because of some item that they gave us or left us or that they brought home. They remember us because of the time that we spent, the events that we shared, the relationship and the bond that was formed. And if we haven't taken the time to do those things, there is no item around that is going to create those positive memories that this person wanted my child to have, but that had not taken the time to create. So memories are the things that come from the time that we share, the holidays, the birthdays, just the times that we visit, spend time with them, the times that we go out for ice cream with them, that we do something nice with them, when we talk to them either in person or on Zoom or on a phone call, whatever it be. Memories, not things, are the things that people carry with them after we have left the planet and are dead and gone. So memories is one of the ways that we leave a legacy with other people, because they carry those things with them in their heart. But a second key component of forming a legacy is thinking about the impact that we want to have on other people. Now, a lot of us may think, well, I don't get out a lot. I'm not famous. I'm not important. I don't do whatever. And so many of us may not realize what a big impact we can have on other people when our lives intersect. Small moments can actually pack a pretty big wallop if you think about it, and oftentimes without us even really realizing the impact that we had. For example, the stranger that you smiled at in a store who may have been having a really horrible bad day, but that came away feeling just a little bit more hopeful because you smiled to him and maybe said something nice. Or maybe a person that you held a door for going in or out of a building who had been feeling very, very invisible and unseen and important and like they didn't matter and that no one even realized they were here, who for a moment there felt seen and felt acknowledged and recognized because you performed a nicety for them. Or perhaps you gave a word of encouragement to somebody who was feeling so down and so desperate that they felt like they couldn't go on, that they wanted to quit or give up. But your word of encouragement gave them just that little glimmer of hope that they needed to take another step, to do another day, to try just a little bit more. The things that we do, the things that we say, the example that we set, all of those things have a huge impact on others, whether we realize it or not. And of course, here's the kicker. They can have a positive impact or they can have a negative impact. That choice is up to us. But most of us are never going to really realize what an impact we had on other people, because so many of those are small moments, again, where our lives intersected, mainly only for just a moment, maybe for a longer period of time, but in ways that we often don't recognize or realize, and that we definitely don't plan for. They had an impact on somebody's life in some way, hopefully in a positive way. Too often, though, we never really know, and so as a result, we sell ourselves short, we sell our impact short, we think that the things we do, say, example, we said that they don't matter, but they do. And then here's one more thing about legacy that I want to point out. There may be dreams and goals and aspirations that you have not yet acted upon, or that maybe you're thinking about, but, you haven't really, gotten going on those. My word of advice here is if there are things inside of you that need to come out, don't squelch those things. It's important to have goals and dreams and aspirations in life. They encourage us to do more, to work a little bit harder, to be the best selves that we can be. And those also set an example and have an impact on others. And they also create memories that other people will have of us as they watch us do those things. You also never know where something that's inside of you may have a huge impact on someone else once you let it out. In other words, don't hide your light under a basket. It's meant to be seen. It's meant to shine. Our legacy is something that we are creating every day in both small and large ways, but especially those small ones. It's important to realize that it's not something that just comes about and gets going at the end of our life, but that it is something we are taking steps daily to create as we live our lives and as we come into contact with other people. I encourage all of us to think about the kind of legacy that we want to leave behind and for us to take the steps every single day to make sure that the legacy we are leaving is a positive one and the kind that we want to leave behind.